An administration that prides itself on being on time. I apologize profusely for a late start here. Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for joining us. I'm incredibly pleased to be joined by this august group standing with me today. Lieutenant Governor Sheila Oliver, Senate President Steve Sweeney, Speaker of the General Assembly Craig Coughlin, Acting Commissioner of Health Judy Persicelli, Attorney General Grabir Graywall. We got Senator Joe Vitale, Mr. Chairman, Dr. Herb Conaway, Mr. Chairman, Senator Shirley Turner. Is that it? I want to make sure I didn't miss anybody. Thank you all so much for being with us today. This afternoon, a short while ago, I signed an executive order creating a multi-departmental electronic smoking device task force, which will, over the course of the next 3 weeks, identify and recommend actions we can take both administratively and legislatively to protect New Jersey residents, especially kids, from the hazards of vaping. Let me be perfectly clear. Many people have no idea what chemicals their vape pen is putting into their bodies. The FDA hasn't had the ability to fully test the safety of these products. As of this moment, there is no safe vape. The only safe alternative to smoking is not smoking, period, full stop. We are joining a growing number of states and the federal government compelled to take on vaping given the rash of emerging lung disease cases associated with e-cigarette use. This task force will be chaired by Acting Commissioner Judy Persicelli, who I should remind everyone is a registered nurse, and will include the Attorney General's office, among others. It will issue its initial findings and recommendations, and this is deliberate, by Thursday, October 3rd, so that's 3 weeks from today. I know the Senate President, the Speaker, the Senators, and Assemblymen all share our concerns about the safety of vaping. I also want to give a shout out to Majority Leader Senator Loretta Weinberg and Senator Sandy Cunningham. Nice to see you both here. I know that we all share our concerns about the safety of vaping, and I appreciate their efforts deeply. And I stand ready to work with them and their colleagues on legislation to protect our residents, including through new measures which may stem from the task force's work. The New Jersey Department of Health has already issued a public advisory to healthcare providers regarding the potential safety issues of vaping. The department, in partnership with local health departments, has identified 3 confirmed cases of severe pulmonary disease associated with vaping and is currently investigating 19 others, and Judy will add some more color to that. As the FDA appears likely to move forward with its proposed prohibition on the sale of flavored vaping products, New Jersey is also ready to assist in that effort. As the task force begins its work, as our legislative partners undertake theirs, and as the national investigation into this spate of lung disease and deaths continues, I urge New Jerseyans to follow the recommendation of the CDC and to discontinue all use of electronic cigarettes and vaping products. Again, I thank the Senate President, the Speaker, the Senators, and the Assemblymen assembled here and beyond for their partnership. I also want to thank the many educators and public health advocates, particularly parents against vaping, who we've had the privilege of working alongside. And again, on behalf of my partner in government, Lieutenant Governor Sheila Oliver, I thank Acting Commissioner Judy Persicelli and Attorney General Grabir Graywall and their task force colleagues in advance for their work. With that, again, please help me welcome my partner in government, the one and only, the singular, Lieutenant Governor Sheila Oliver.
Thank you, Governor. Yes, thank you. I simply want to say you're going to hear from the leaders in our government who will really be legislatively and administratively finding solutions and a path forward for us in New Jersey. But I just want to commend all of the people standing behind me, from the Senate, from the Assembly, our own cabinet officials, our Attorney General. This was very easy for us to come together in a very short period of time to address what is becoming a very prolific public health issue. And you can look forward to the work that they will be engaged in during the next 3 weeks. and you will see us affirmatively and swiftly do something to address this issue, which is detrimental to the health of the people that live in this state. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheila. Deep appreciation. Please help me welcome again our Acting Commissioner of Health, Judy Persicelli. Judy, come on down.
Thank you. Governor Murphy, Senate President Sweeney, Assembly Speaker Coughlin, Senator Vitale, Senator Turner, Dr. Conaway, Attorney General Graywall. You know, our mission at the Department of Health is to enable our residents to live long, healthy lives. And today, we're here to talk about an urgent health hazard facing primarily our youth. It has the potential to interfere with our mission: electronic smoking devices. The incidence of serious lung complications among the youth nationally is increasing at such a rapid rate we cannot stand back without utmost concern. Electronic smoking devices were introduced in the United States in 2007, and the use has skyrocketed to the point that there are almost 7 million adults and almost 4 million high schoolers and middle schoolers using electronic smoking devices, according to the CDC. More than half of those using electronic cigarette devices are under 35 years of age. Nationally, in 2018, more than 1 in 5 high school students reported using electronic smoking devices, marking a 78% increase from the year before. In New Jersey, 21% of youth have reported trying electronic smoking devices. That's according to the department's Youth Tobacco Survey. The concern with young people is that they're attracted to flavored vaping oils with youth-enticing names like cotton candy, strawberry cheesecake, and razzleberry. It is reported that nationally, 43% of young people who ever used electronic smoking devices tried them because of the appealing flavors. While the FDA and the CDC continue to investigate what product or chemical is causing these severe lung illnesses, people should stop using electronic smoking devices. And regardless of this ongoing investigation, and as a general precaution, people should not be buying devices off the street or through black markets, and it should never be used by youth, young adults, and pregnant women. Nationwide, there's more than 450 possible cases of lung illness and half a dozen deaths. In New Jersey, there are 3 cases of severe illnesses that have been confirmed, and we are investigating 19 additional cases. The 3 cases, one was reported August 14th, it's a 33-year-old male. On August 15th, a 16-year-old male. And on August 30th, a 28-year-old male. All were hospitalized and all are recovering. We are looking at 19 additional cases. You may ask, why can't we get information more quickly? We have to abstract the medical record. We have to look for the history, comorbid conditions, underlying medical conditions that may be interfering with us identifying a confirmed case. To date, we have confirmed no cases of vaping-related lung issues that have been associated with products sold in the New Jersey medical marijuana dispensaries. However, as a precaution, we have directed the dispensaries to actively educate patients who want to purchase vaping devices about the CDC warnings to date. Right now, the department is investigating a report of an adult woman with a recent death from a respiratory illness. This patient had significant comorbid conditions we do not have any epidemiological evidence to conclude that this report of an individual is associated with the current multi-state investigations that are being conducted by the CDC, the FDA, and the state. In mid-August, the department sent a statewide health alert to all healthcare providers and local health agencies, asking clinicians to immediately report possible cases of lung disease associated with electronic smoking devices. We recently began a public awareness campaign on social media called Vape Facts New Jersey to help parents, teachers, coaches, and healthcare officials better understand the risks of vaping and e-cigarette use. The department has also created a youth social media campaign called Incorruptible Us that informs young people about the dangers of vaping and nicotine. It uses bold graphics and clear language to emphasize that vaping may just be big tobacco's new way to get them addicted to nicotine. We outlined the youth campaign to health officers this past Tuesday, and we will be sending them a resource toolkit to help us promote this campaign. I look forward to convening the governor's task force, to convening the experts within our departments so we can quickly develop more recommendations to protect the health of the residents in New Jersey, particularly our youth. Thank you.
Thank you, Judy. Well said. Thank you. And thank you for chairing this. Please help me welcome Attorney General Gurbir Grewal.
Good afternoon, everyone. I want to thank Governor Murphy, Acting Commissioner Persicelli, and the leaders from the legislature who are here this afternoon. I want to thank you all for your leadership and for coming together so quickly to address this urgent threat to public health in New Jersey. We've all seen the reports of acute health problems resulting from e-cigarette use, and we've all seen the reports of deaths linked to vaping. So let's be clear about a few things. Smoking electronic cigarettes is bad for you. Smoking any cigarettes is bad for you, period. Smoking is bad no matter your age, but it is particularly harmful to kids. And that's one of the reasons that this particular public health threat is so serious, because we believe that e-cigarette or vaping businesses are marketing their products in a way that appeals to kids. Why? Because they know that kids are impressionable and more susceptible to becoming hooked on their products. And unfortunately, their marketing strategies are working. They're fueling a vaping epidemic among not just high schoolers in this state and country, but also middle schoolers. At a time when we are fighting tooth and nail against a raging opioid epidemic, with all the tools at our disposal in this state, we simply cannot allow another generation of young people to fall prey to a new type of addiction. Again, as I said, this is a public health issue. And as you've heard already from the governor and the health commissioner, we're approaching it that way. But from my perspective, it's also about compliance with our state's laws. So if a company is marketing e-cigarette products to kids, it's violating our laws. And it's subject to all of our enforcement powers. So today, we're announcing that we are taking action. Our state's Division of Consumer Affairs has demanded information from 15 e-cigarette businesses. That includes Juul, the nation's largest e-cigarette manufacturer, as well as Eon Smoke, a company based right here in New Jersey. We're demanding answers. We're demanding answers about their sales in New Jersey. We're demanding answers about how they market their product to New Jersey residents. And the information we are demanding will help us demonstrate the full scope of the problem here in New Jersey, and it will establish who is responsible so that we can hold them fully accountable for their actions and put an end to illegal marketing practices that put our kids' lives at stake. And as with any matter, we will follow the facts wherever they may lead, and we'll make sure that no stone is left unturned as we stand up for consumers in this state and across the United States. In addition to our investigation, we also look forward to working with Governor Murphy and the new task force that's been established today to take prompt action to address this threat to public health in New Jersey. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Please help me welcome someone who has seized this admirably, Senate President Steve Sweeney.
First, I want to recognize and really give Governor Murphy a lot of credit for moving quickly on this issue, because this is a real epidemic, and it's not getting better, it's getting worse. So, Governor, thank you for signing that executive order and getting this task force that's going to come back with recommendations within 21 days. I want to recognize my senators, Senator Vitale and Senator Turner, who have been focusing on this issue for quite some time. And just recently, we finally got the bills through the committee to ban flavored vaping. But I still stand on a call for banning vaping in New Jersey, all products. But where we can start is the stores that are blaming the black market, well, maybe they should stop selling the black market products. I would call on them to absolutely stop selling these black market products that are coming from China. They're not regulated, and they're part of the problems that we hear the legitimate stores saying. It's the black market. Well, then don't sell their product, because that's what they're doing. So a good first step would be out of this commission is if we can get the black market products out of the stores, then come up with a plan to phase out vaping itself. We have too many children. We're losing another generation of children. We had great success in reducing smoking. I mean, we all should be proud of that. Underage smoking went down. So now they found the tobacco industry's found another way to hook kids, and it's not right. So Governor Murphy, I look forward to working with you and the Speaker and everyone else involved so that we can come up with something that New Jersey could be a national model to deal with this emerging crisis, healthcare crisis in the United States right now. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. Well said. Well said. Thank you for that, Steve. Please help me welcome. It takes a village, and legislation is going to come out of this, which I would bet we will see. Please help me welcome the Speaker of the General Assembly, Craig Coughlin.
Thank you, Governor. And it seems like we have a village here. But I thank everybody for coming out, and I thank all of my colleagues who are here today, and members of the Cabinet, and the Governor, and my colleague and friend Steve Sweeney, for being here today as we come together to bring about some swift action that is needed. I don't think any of us have to look much beyond the newspaper or the television to understand that this is a growing problem and something that demands swift action. And I commend the Governor on taking that action today. I'm impressed with the steps that the Commissioner has taken already, and I'm happy to be here with my colleague Steve Sweeney, who has certainly led on this issue, along with the legislators who are here. My colleague in the Assembly, Dr. Herb Conaway, is a leading advocate in the fight against smoking, and he's done terrific work on this bill and so many others. This is something that demands immediate attention. It is a potential huge public health problem, and I think the fact that so many of us have come together so quickly to recognize that speaks to the fact that we're committed to getting something real and meaningful done in a very short time. So thanks everybody for being here, and thank you all for, let's get this done quickly. Thank you.
Thanks, Craig. Well done. You make a very fair point. In addition to that, we do have a village with us. Nobody said no today on very short notice, and that tells you how important we think this is. Please help me welcome Chairman, Senator, a leader on so many health care fronts, Senator Joe Vitale.
Thanks. Thank you. Thank you, and thank you for everyone for being here today. And the Commissioner is right. I mean, the reason it is that children, underage users, are using electronic devices and even smoking cigarettes still is because of the way in which they're marketed and the way in which they're flavored. I mean, that's indisputable. And one of the most important things we can do right away through the task force and through legislation is to ban the sale of all flavored e-liquid products in this state. In addition to that, to also then to amend the existing law where we banned flavored tobacco some years ago, but did not include menthol. Menthol has to be on the list of banned substances, of banned tobacco products in the state as well. It was pointed out to me years ago when we finally passed the ban on flavored tobacco products that there was a disproportionate population of people of color who were using menthol cigarettes, and there are those advocates, even in the legislature at that time, who believed that this was an attack on the African American community. Is a ridiculous argument. That Big Tobacco knows what they're doing. They knew what they were doing then by marketing to people of color menthol cigarettes, and they know what they're doing today. When Altria, formerly known as Philip Morris, bought a 35% share of Juul to the tune of $38 billion, they knew what they were doing. They knew that this was going to be the next thing for them to make their money. When tobacco sales are going this way, e-cigarette usage is going that way. And it's a way in which to fill the void left by less and less people smoking traditional tobacco products. I also want to thank those organizations who have been after us for a little while, which is the Lung Association, Heart Association, GASP here in New Jersey, and other public health advocates who have been trying to hold our feet to the fire. Assemblyman Conaway passed a bill of banning flavored e-juice in the last session, and it wasn't a fun time in your committee. I mean, the folks who were in this business came out. Of course, Big Tobacco was hiding behind them, but arguing that this was the wrong thing to do, when it's actually the absolute right thing to do. So banning the flavored cigarettes or flavored e-liquids is something we need to do right away, and also the unregulated juice, where it is that folks who are in this business, whether it's a storefront or some other operation, where they're mixing this stuff in their back room, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, liquid that's bought online or purchased overseas that comes in New Jersey, where they mix the product together, not knowing what the amount of nicotine is in the product, not knowing what the other chemicals are putting in there will really have an effect when they're sort of all put together, is a real issue. So banning unregulated as well. So these are recommendations that we're going to pass on to the task force, among others. But I can't say enough about the governor and the Senate President and Speaker for bringing us all together today to take a real bite out of this and get this done once and for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you. Thank you very much for that. Another leader in the Senate. We are in her backyard. Please help me welcome Senator Shirley Turner.
Thank you, Governor. We do have a public health crisis, not just in this state, but in this country, and it's a growing crisis, and it's impacting primarily our youth. We have found that throughout this country now, there are 6 fatalities that are responsible for the death of 6 people in 6 different states. And we want to make sure that we don't have the same kind of fatality here in the state of New Jersey. And I commend our governor, as well as our Senate President and our Speaker and my colleagues, to ensure that we will not become one of those statistics. And we have also found that over 450 illnesses have occurred because of vaping. And we have, fortunately, we don't have anywhere near that number in New Jersey. We have 20 plus, supposedly, but we don't want to have any, because we have made too much progress in terms of stamping out tobacco and nicotine addiction. And this is a step backwards because, as was said earlier, the cigarette companies have found a new way, a new tool to hook a new generation. And these are the kids who are going to be our future. And it's being done not just in high schools, but also, as what was said, in the junior high schools. And it's not just the public schools, it's also the private schools. I have been told by children that they know very well that students are doing it in the classrooms as well as in the bathrooms. So I want to commend our governor once again for taking this quick action so that we can stem this growing epidemic. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Bless you. Thank you, Senator. Last but not least, as Joe Vitale said, he can fill in the blanks where we missed anything. Please help me welcome Chairman Dr. Herb Conaway.
Thank you, Governor. And let me add my congratulations and support for bringing the power of the administration to deal with this public health crisis. Make no mistake, if we do not use the power and authority we have to stand down this crisis, we will stand by as another generation of children, of Americans, become addicted to nicotine, which will impact the rest of their lives. We've seen this with the combustible cigarettes, and we're seeing the same thing. It's not a mistake that Philip Morris has bought a huge stake in these electronic smoking devices. They know that children will take these things up. We're seeing 20% of high school kids who have used this in the last 30 days. These are alarming statistics. And the jolt that you get from these devices, the nicotine jolt to that young developing brain, will have enormous negative impacts on their development. Affects memory, affects mood, causes irritability. It is a huge problem, and we had better do whatever we can to face it down. Now, the flavors are there for a reason. That's to get people hooked on nicotine, and they have to use nicotine for the rest of their lives. We've got to take important steps. There's legislation there, and I await the deliberations of the committee. There are plenty of people here who are willing and ready to move forward to do what needs to be done to face down this threat to the public health and safety. And I hope that we can gather all the people who need to come to the table. Some have been resistant to some of these measures. Some of these measures are not new. They've been there before. We've gone after flavors before. We're getting after coupons. These health organizations like Walgreens who are selling cigarettes in those stores, they need to be reminded of their responsibility about advertising and showing these devices for people who are coming through as they're trying to conduct their business in health. They need to be told or advised or helped to do the right thing here and to get these products out of their stores. So we're going to stay on the case. We're going to keep driving until we do what's right by those who need us to do our jobs, and that is to protect the public health, get these devices out of the hands of our children, and send the message loud and clear. That is that the use of nicotine will lead to lifelong problems, and don't start because you don't want to have to try to quit. I've seen it. It's a problem. Let's do the right thing. And under the governor's leadership and the leadership of the administration, I know we will. Thank you.
Thank you, Herb. Thank you very much. We'll take a couple of questions. We started late, so I'd ask if we could focus this as best we can on topic. I'll speak for myself. I'll be with you tomorrow again for other stuff. Michael.
I asked you one off topic.
What? Didn't I just say that, or is it my?
There's no ban. You're not going for a ban now. You're going for a study now to look at a possible ban. Is that right?
So what we're saying, I think quite clearly, and if anyone sees this differently, please tell me. Number one, don't vape until further notice, period. And number two, we've got a task force that will have a 3-week life to it. And so on October 3rd, at latest, they will submit a set of recommendations, and their remit is as broad as imaginable. I doubt the status quo. I think we all share this opinion. The status quo will not be an option, but every other potential option is on the table.
Thank you.
Please. Did Michael ask you to ask this? I'm told they just released it. I literally haven't seen the list. They didn't run it by me, and I'm thrilled they finally released it. Paul.
On the vaping question, the vaping people who are outside told me that the problem is not with the regulated marijuana vaping, like the state itself sells in medicinal marijuana, but with the black market. So, how will it crack down on regulated products? Obviously, if we legalize marijuana, we would then have supervised, marijuana vaping products. But how can you eliminate, make illegal something that's already illegal?
First of all, Paul, I appreciate your asking an on-topic question. Secondly, Judy and Kabir and Steve or others here should chime in. I think on the illegal side, that's part of the action you're taking, right? We're trying to snuff out the black market, and Judy can comment on the legal versus illegal side. Do you want to start, Kabir, and then?
One of the areas that we're looking at is the marketing to children, and that, under our Consumer Fraud Act, under our existing laws, would be illegal. And so if we find evidence through the discovery process, we sent out investigative demands today to 15 e-cigarette manufacturers, and if we're uncovering evidence that they're marketing deliberately to minors, as it appears to be the case, as the prior speakers mentioned, then that's a violation of our Consumer Fraud Act, and we have broad powers to hurt them in their pocketbooks and to enjoin their conduct. So we'll seek all available options and available remedies.
Well said. Judy, anything you want to add to the first part of Paul's question?
You know, although we have not found any cases related to our regulated dispensaries, we are not presupposing anything. There's nothing that says right now that it's just black market or it's just this. We're going to be open to be looking at everything. So we don't want to presuppose what the task force will be looking at.
They were saying that the main problem is that people stretch the marijuana product with vitamin E oil, and that's what causes it.
The lab in New York found vitamin E oils as being one of the offending products that has not been confirmed nationally by the CDC.
These are very good examples of some of the questions they're going to be grappling with immediately. Herb, you want to come on?
I just want to take issue with one thing. The federal government was given the power to regulate these devices and it hasn't done so. Those of us in the public health community have had to sue the government to get them to do their job, which is to look at all these devices and to find out what's in them. We don't know. People don't know what they're smoking, and a lot of them are chemicals that cause, as we're seeing now, inflammation in the lung and to lead to very serious problems with your lung function. And so the federal government has failed. We're not going to fail here to do what we need to do. So right now these products sit in a regulatory dead zone, and we've got to change that.
Well said. Steve, you want to add something?
Yeah, just one thing, Paul. People are going to stores to buy these black market products to be mixed, as Joe Vitale said. They're not doing it in their basements. They're going to stores to buy this stuff. So the people that are selling these products that are now saying it's the black market, well, who's promoting the black market? They are, by selling that stuff.
But I guess he was saying the black market, marijuana vaping.
Yeah, but
that is black market.
But this is the problem, Paul, because as Senator Vitale said, you go to a store, they make a compound in the back to juice the stuff up, which is one of the problems. So again, one of the things we should do immediately is call for all these stores to stop using these black market products because they're selling them.
But then
Thank you.
if we legalize marijuana, will we be legalizing, will it be the equivalent of what they're now selling as medicinal marijuana available to the public?
I think what you're going to, I think we hold that thought for 3 weeks. That's a good series of questions we're trying to get to. Ryan.
I have to ask about the new direction in New Jersey. You don't want to talk about the groups that you solicited from. I don't understand why you can't answer that question.
I haven't seen I just literally have not seen the list.
I don't know who you solicited.
Yeah, but
You did it, right?
yeah, I'll look at the list and
You don't remember, or?
in some cases I don't remember. I was asked a long time ago, did I solicit, I think, NJEA, and I said yes.
Okay. And additional to that, Dakota's law firm, they gave, I think, $200,000. They have hundreds of thousands of dollars of contracts before the state, and that seems like an end run around pay-to-play laws. Do you see it that way? Are you concerned about that?
Listen, I'll let the new direction folks speak for themselves. I solicited in some cases money for that organization, as many other folks do for other organizations. And I'd like to, I have not even seen this yet, so I'd like to have the benefit of that. Charlie. Jesus. Hold on. Anything else on topic? Sir. I don't know. We just had a leadership meeting, which I thought was a very constructive discussion. I think we'd all like to take another shot at that. Fair to say? But probably not until a lame duck period. But I don't know that this is going to have an impact on that timing one way or the other. Michael. It is, I believe, made up entirely of administration officials. It's chaired by Judy Gerbier or a representative, the treasurer representative, Department of Ed or rep, Health, Human Services, Children and Families. There's about 10 different designated members. But, okay. I will, I promise you. I got to go to Charlie first because he'll. Again, I haven't seen it, Charlie. I've been asking for a while that they release the names, and I'm glad that they did.
I'm sorry, that it seems like they created
above, beyond my pay grade. Please.
Transit advocates today called for converting the bus fleet of New Jersey Transit to all electric.
Including that advocate right there.
By the year 2040.
Yep.
And they say that that will require a dedicated source of funding. What's your view on that?
I think the objective to have the best bus and rail system in America that is the most environmentally friendly is one that I completely sign on for. I haven't thought through the question of a dedicated source. Please.
I'd like to know from the Senate President and the Speaker if in light of the election releasing donors, if they will release their views, whether they're accurate or not, whether they will release their donors before the election, sooner rather than later, not if the election is
I don't have a group.
Well,
I don't have a group.
it's shut down, but it's still have donors.
But I never solicited one nickel from anyone for that group. So I don't have a group.
I'll leave it to the folks, the group to decide that.
Please.
I would be in support of.
Oh, sorry.
I'd be in support of this names.
I'm curious, being a public health crisis, why, I mean, do you feel like you have the power to do an executive order like they did in Michigan to ban flavored e-cigarettes? Why wait 3 weeks for recommendation?
I think what I've said speaks for itself. We're saying in no uncertain terms, don't vape. Give us 3 weeks to determine the answers to a lot of these questions, which are imponderable, frankly. And I don't think anybody's got all the answers right now. And that should be and will be on the table as a consideration. Please.
There are many small business owners who own vape shops. You just said don't vape, you just killed their business. What's your message to that?
Well, with all due respect, there are a lot of Philip Morris or Altria buying $38 billion stake. I mean, decisions have consequences here. If this is a public health crisis, which we are fearful it is, which is why we're here today, then that trumps anything else, including people making money off of a public health crisis. I have always sympathy, but it can't be at the expense of public health, particularly our kids, and that's the big point here. Brett, and I'm going to shut it down for that.
Last thing,
You agree?
Newark water
I agree with you.
Newark water situation, do you know if the testing results are done or when they'll be done and when they'll be released?
I don't, and I want them to be released as much as anybody, as fast as possible. I hope it is soon. We had said, I think the mayor had said this, and I had reiterated it was a matter of weeks, a couple of weeks ago, and I hope that we are closer than not to getting those test results, because I think once we have a lot of data points, we can make much more informed decisions. I want to thank everybody up here with me, from right to left, as well as our distinguished senators who joined us. Stay tuned. Again, I think on behalf of all of us, we are deadly serious about this, and a 3-week time fuse probably will set a land speed record in terms of a task force in the state, and that's for a reason. As Steve said to me privately, unlike cigarette smoking, which has long-term deleterious impacts on your health, this is something where somebody wakes up on a Monday and they're in a hospital on a Tuesday, and nobody saw it coming, which is why we're moving at the speed we are. Thank you all.
Thanks, Governor.
You as well.
Oh, I'm sorry.